Hi everyone. Hope you guys are doing good. I'm excited because I have a panel of product-based businesses that are going to be talking about how they are working on or how they've been able to go plastic free. So I'm excited for this Instagram Live today. Like I said, I'm going to have a group of 3 founders and leaders. And first, we're going to have Brienne Derosier, founder and CEO of Mache, which is a sustainable yoga storage, and they're coming on board right now. I have Silva, who is the founder of Outdoor Women, an outdoor and sporting goods company. And then finally, I have Rob Tucker, who is the VP of Sales and Partnership of Rain, which is aluminum bottled spring water. So let me bring them on.
Hello.
Hey, Erika.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, loud and clear. Hello.
Wonderful. Oh, I think, give me 1 second. Sofia is trying to get on here too. And should have her on in just a second.
Hey.
Yes.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi. Fun.
Can you guys all hear me good? Everyone can hear each other?
Yep.
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for having us on.
Of course. I know that with these of having a lot of guests on with Instagram Lives, you can see, I believe on your screen, you can see a mic. So I might ask you guys to mute yourself until you respond. Hopefully then, I know a lot of people have had like echo problems, and so hopefully that works for us. But if you guys are joining us for the first time, my name is Erika and I'm founder and CEO of Nadi Marketing. Wanted to bring on board these leaders and founders because it's Plastic Free July, and I thought what a great conversation it would be about product-based businesses. So thank you for joining us live. If you're listening on the replay, thank you so much. And if you do have any questions for them, they're going to do an introduction real quick right now, but put it in the comments. Even if you're listening on the replay, put it in the comments, and we'll get to them. So I guess to start us off, how about if we go and just introduce yourself and please share how long you've been with your current company and or when you started your company. So Rob, do you want to go first?
Absolutely. Happy to start, and thanks for letting me lead off here. I know the other 2 individuals on the call are founders of their companies, and just kudos to them for starting their businesses and being forward thinkers. I myself am lucky to be a part of the team, and our founder Mark couldn't be on today, but I am the VP Sales and Partnerships of Rain. That's aluminum bottled spring water. Here's our can right here, and even the cap right there is aluminum, so 100% aluminum product.
And Sofia, would you like to go?
Yeah, of course. Hi, I'm Sofia Silva. I'm the founder of Outdoor Women, which is a marketplace of curated and conscious gear for any outdoorsy woman or anyone who just even likes to get outside. So we like to have all different types of lifestyle stuff on there, including zero waste products. And I also am in charge of impact and sustainability over at Nomad Goods as well. So kind of get both the marketplace experience there and the product experience. So I'll be talking to both of those sides of what I do. So that's a little bit about me, and thanks for joining.
Perfect. Bree?
Hey there, everyone. Thank you so much, Erika, for hosting such an important discussion. I can't think of very many other things that I like to talk about more than the reduction of plastic. I know that sounds boring to some, but I really, really get off on it. So my company, Mache, is a sustainable yoga and fitness storage company that works extremely hard to reduce plastic. I've been with that company, launched that company right before COVID, a couple weeks right before. So we're now in our 2nd year, the little engine that could. And then prior to that, I had another company, which I still have, which is an interior design company that specializes in non-plastic ingredients, so to speak, for your home or workplace. So I've been devoted to finding alternatives, sustainable alternatives to plastic for over a decade now.
Wonderful. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time. And like I said, if anyone has any questions, put it in the comments. We'll make sure to answer them within this live. Yes, we get so fired up about reducing plastic too. So thank you so much, Davey. So I guess to start us off, let's go with how is going plastic free rooted in your company? So we can go in opposite order. Go for it, Brie.
Sure thing. Yeah. So I like to start my plastic-free journey at the design process. Prior to, even prototyping, we do a lot of research into materials and finding materials for the interior landscape, as I like to call it, that will not off-gas harmful chemicals or heavy metals into the built environment or, the air that you're breathing. So that's sort of my personal hill. My battle is trying to remove plastic from interior design specifically. It is incredibly impregnated into every nook and cranny, from electrical to plumbing to the, finishes on walls and floors to the furniture and, the soft goods, the pillows and the textiles that we fill these buildings up with are often the biggest culprits in terms of not only polluting the planet when those products are not only being made, but also eventually being disposed of. But, it's more than just the plastic products. It's about health for us. So it's not just the environment, it's about, the endocrine system, your hormonal system. These things can be altered from these toxic chemicals. So we like to look at the world of health and wellness as extending past the human body and into our built environment, where we can find that planetary and, health and wellness for a personal sense kind of married, right? So that's where the interior design comes in, and where we look at it from the very onset of a design problem. We're looking at materials. Where do they come from? What are they made of? How are they harvested? Is there any plastics involved? There's a lot more plastic in wood than you would think. Something that would look, quite natural at first glance could be laden with plastic resins that are off-gassing into your space and or, harming the people that are working with those materials. So we look at the design process, and then we also carry it into operations. Every single thing we do, we minimize the purchasing of plastics for our own personal use in the business when it comes to office supplies, all the way through what storage bins are we buying to organize all of our products in the warehouse. And then, part of what I really would like to stress for folks to consider when, looking at their own lives and businesses when it comes to reduction or elimination of plastic is focus on single use first. And that's where packaging comes in. We literally, we take packaging very, very seriously. We reuse every single stitch of plastic that comes into our facility via shipping and delivery. And we, are very clear to communicate with others that these items were not purchased, they're being reused. And anything that we can do to eliminate plastic packaging in the way of reusing our waste. So when we make our products, here's an example of one of our yoga mat tubes. You can tell that, it's been manufactured with this slice here off the top, and there's actually a slice off the bottom in the process of refining this product. We take those slices, here's one right here, and we use those, we wrap them in paper like this, and we put the ends on the top and the bottom, and we staple them to the paper. So we're not even using tape, we're just using metal and paper, and these basically trash pieces that would otherwise go, in the recycling or the landfill, depending on where you are, they get reused as packaging, and thereby we are reducing, whenever possible, our single-use plastics. there's the long story of how it comes into play basically at every single level. And we're looking for more and more ways to reduce plastic at every turn.
No, that's amazing. Thank you. I'll go to Sofia next. How is going plastic-free rooted in your company?
Yeah, so and I forgot to say, sorry, I started Outdoor Women about 1.5 years ago. So it's an idea for a long time, but something that really just launched about 1.5 years ago. So forgot to add that to the intro. So like I said, I've been thinking about this for almost 4.5 years, and with that, you know, being plastic free was really important in the creation of it. The only plastics we actually do use are shipping tape, and what I do is I really try to make sure that I'm using as little as possible. And what I do is I have all my friends and family save boxes for me. I have a whole stash of, even like people that do go to on Amazon, I have them save their bubble wrap things for me. So I actually have never purchased any poly mailers or anything like that. And some of the products I do ship, thank you. Some of the products I do ship do need like more of a bubble wrap type of thing. I know that there's other alternatives, but I just thought, you know, hey, if I can convince people to save these and I can reuse them and have them have a second life, I'm not using any virgin materials or even recycled materials that are, you know, like a recycled poly mailer that's made out of paper is great, but if you're able to not even use that, that's even better. So sometimes when people receive my packages, they look kind of gnarly, but that's all right. I include that in the email. So that's something I've done for the last year. Some of the products I ship are drop shipping, so I don't have as much control over what they are shipping there. But what I do, and it's an awesome thing that I've been able to do, is since I work with a lot of other brands and a lot of other vendors, I've been able to work with them on solutions for plastic free or reducing their plastic. Shout out to Sustainability Sarah. She's really great on providing free resources to a lot of different brands. And also I think it's important to recognize the last thing, which is like the plastic free industry. The image of it is very much like of a white affluent woman. And so I think it's really important to recognize that plastic free, that doesn't mean throwing all your plastic stuff away and then going and buying stuff. It's reusing what you already have. It's crowdsourcing from friends and family. It's going to the thrift store and buying a plastic bin, because at the end of the day, plastic is a durable material. So if we can buy it secondhand or find a second long-term life for it, that's what's going to really make the world more sustainable rather than even just making new things. So yeah, I love that you're using the bottom parts of the cut out cardboard to reuse that. So same vibe there. So yeah, that's kind of what we do to make sure we ensure we're as plastic free as possible.
I love that. You got some fire emojis for not buying any virgin plastic. So that's awesome, Sophia. Yeah, that's great. And then Rob, what about yourself? And with Rain?
Yeah, thank you so much. I hear Bree and Sophia talk, and it gives me all these other ideas of things I want to say, because it sounds like we're so like-minded, which is so great. But plastic, it's a part of our lives, and it's not just the externally, right? For our slogan, for example, Rain, spring water is better for you and better for the planet, and we say better for you because of the things like microplastics and those that you're not putting in your body and consuming. But in terms of how being plastic free is the root of our business, I mean, it's truly the core of our company and the premise behind all that we do. Mark, our founder, was a consultant for Coke and Pepsi. He's a mechanical engineer by education, and he would travel to each one of their bottling facilities throughout the United States and in Japan, and there's one in every state. And he was helping them to get their lines to move more efficiently, i.e. to make more plastic bottles be produced in any given moment. And he says until you're in one of those facilities, the everyday consumer just really can't truly grasp how much plastic is being produced. And so he said after being in those 50 facilities, sorry if I lost you guys there, being in those facilities really inspired him to take a product like bottled water, which is traditionally done in plastic, and see what other ways, how can we make this a plastic-free product. And I can touch on the other sustainable formats that are out there right now, or I should say, quote unquote, sustainable formats. But aluminum for us, the reason we use the aluminum is because we know it will be recycled. Coke and Pepsi, have taught us that if we just throw our plastic bottle in the bin, the blue bin, that it's going to be recycled. And it says 100% recyclable all over the bottles and all this. The issue is in the economics. It is cheaper to make new plastic than it is to recover and remake, and it only gets downcycled. It can never be 100% itself. So it is more expensive to do that. So there's no economic incentive for businesses to recover and use plastic. Recycling is a for-profit industry. Aluminum, on the other hand, and the reason we settled on this format is because there is a demand for recycled aluminum. It turns 100% back into itself. It's infinitely recyclable. Within 60 days of this hitting a blue bin, it's turned back into a bottle or an F-150 or a fighter jet. And so it's the economics of the aluminum that make it so sustainable, and really why Mark had kind of chosen that format to start the business. So he bought a spring water facility in northern Georgia, happens to be one of the rainiest counties in the United States, an ode to our name, rain. And he converted that completely from a PET bottling facility to bottle this aluminum bottle in which we use now. And we only ship out our plastic-free product in this aluminum bottle, and we even use plastic-free secondary packaging in the form of a 6-sided corrugated box. And we use actually the tape on there is a water-activated plastic-free paper tape, and happy to share some of that with you, Sophia, if you might find that to be beneficial for sure. But we just try to eliminate it anywhere we can for sure. So it's the root of everything that we do.
Look at all of you guys. So good. Well, thank you so much. That was, I learned so much, and going from Coke to Rain, that's great. Like, that's mind-boggling. So that's good to hear, though. Okay, so my next question, and you guys, I know you guys already touched upon this, but I guess if you want to pick one item, how are you able to go plastic-free? So if it's through materials, through operations, or packaging and shipping, kind of how are you able to do that right now? So I'll do popcorn style this time. Whoever wants to go first.
I'll just roll right into it. So just because I hit on mute there at that moment you said it, but you're right. We did touch on a little bit, and I know myself I did, but I can elaborate on it. It's obviously, like I said, the aluminum packaging, but for us, right, the cap too is 100% aluminum. That's important because there's other products out there, maybe aluminum or a paper-based product that still use a plastic cap, which makes it what we would call a bi-composition or multi-composition product. And it's very often that they will get sorted, with the product that's going to go to the landfill, simply because the cap is still remaining on it. So for us, it was important that we did an aluminum cap. Like I said, plastic-free secondary packaging. We didn't think it made much sense to go bottle our product in aluminum and then shrink wrap a 24-pack and send that to somebody. So we did, choose to go with a corrugated box, 6-sided corrugated box. And like I said, things like water activated tape, just anywhere we can cut it out, we do. When we're sending pallets to our wholesale customers, we have to shrink wrap those. It's required to make sure that it gets there in one piece. But we have equipment that uses 30% less shrink wrap on those, and it's a stronger material. And so there's a number of ways we try to eliminate it. It currently doesn't exist on our primary and secondary packaging. And anywhere else we can go plastic free, we're certainly going to try to do that.
And then Bree, do you want to go?
Yeah, I was just kind of scrolling through the different ways in which we're still trying to become better with dealing with plastics in the business, because it's a process, and that's something I want to emphasize is it's almost like you were saying, we're all part of this plastic world. And it's, you know, you're deluding yourself to think that you're removed from it and can be 100% plastic free. It's just not possible. But the way that we're living now and the way that we're producing plastics at this rate is clearly unsustainable and needs to change. And ways that we, you know, struggle, same thing with the shrink wrapping. When we do pallet orders, we have to use that sticky plastic. And, you know, when it comes to interior design, really, you know, a lot of people say, I think there was even a comment on one of these previews to this discussion about, you know, oh, there's really nothing we can do until we get the oil companies on board, which feels like I want to push back on that a little bit and say that truly we can vote with our dollars, and the power is in terms of consumerism with, you know, bottled water, for example, or clothing, the power is with the consumer, and choosing very wisely what you spend your money on and which companies you're supporting that are really, you know, actively moving towards that plastic-free culture. But in the world of interior design, it's not so much the user of the building or the consumer that can affect that change in the marketplace or can have a, you know, a substantial power in affecting the change. It's designers. It's the people who are specifying the interior, you know, materials and furniture and chairs and sofas, all that stuff. The power lies in the hands of the designers. So I do a lot of effort to educate not only consumers, but designers, as they have a lot of buying power and can truly push the needle on large companies like plumbing, you know, manufacturers and appliance companies, the people who are, you know, in the multi-millions and billions in revenue. Those large companies need to feel the pressure, and it has to be from the people, not just the oil companies being incentivized to, you know, put their efforts elsewhere.
And I just want to go to the comments because maybe you guys can comment on this, and then I'll go to Sofia. How are your companies pushing back on the fossil fuel companies?
Yeah, I'm obviously pretty small right now, but one thing that I've done is I started with a large bank that we all know. I'm not going to like say their name, but most large banks invest in some way or another in the fossil fuel industry. So one way that you as a consumer can kind of go to your local banks and they have to be transparent with you about where your money, if they're holding it, where it's going. So especially I know a lot of people like invest in ETFs and stuff too. So just make sure like your investments and where your banks, both business and personal, are not being invested in the fossil fuel industry. That's like one kind of easy passive way to do it. The government does subsidize the fossil fuel industry by about $88 billion per year, which is a lot of money. So yeah, I think just continuing to call your Congress people, even if you just set a calendar reminder like once a month, like it's just a 5-minute phone call, like, hey, just wanted to check in and see how, you know, whatever act is happening at the time. Personally, I need to probably do this more, but I try to set a calendar reminder and just call my congressperson and just kind of rant on the message about what's important to me. And if enough people are doing it, then obviously they're going to do what they need to keep their constituents happy. One great trend I'm seeing from retailers in general, working at Nomad with a lot of wholesale retailers from Verizon to Best Buy to Target, is a lot of buyers are actually really pushing for sustainable packaging and sustainable products. So if we continue to buy them and spend a little bit more money or just do a little bit more research on what we're buying, even at the big box level, a lot of these retailers are really actually making an effort. So if we reward them with their efforts by continuing to buy things that are sustainable, because there are definitely plastic-free and sustainable options for most products. And if you're able to afford that, then I say go for it. And I think that will really push a lot of those bigger box people to do it. So I'll let y'all jump in about the pushing back on fossil fuel companies.
I thought that was a great suggestion you made, Sophia, to to question the banks and who you're doing business with. Something, admittedly, I didn't even think about at the time. But in terms of pushing back on the fossil fuel companies, I think it's, maybe I'm thinking a little more generally, but I think it's offering a product that is that's plastic free, that is as good or a better experience for the consumer, so that they can easily adopt it and want to use those products. And I mean no offense towards paper straws. I think they're great alternatives to plastic straws, of course. But sometimes I use a paper straw as an example in saying we don't want rain to be the paper straw experience, where consumers 9 out of 10 might not enjoy that paper straw. We want to offer a product that is as good and familiar, right? You're used to twisting a cap off of a bottle and we think that's important to, as you introduce alternatives to plastic, that they are familiar and easy to transition as much as possible, and that maybe they create a better experience. For us, it's the coldness of the can or the the mouthpiece being bigger. It's a number of things. So I think in terms of pushing back, maybe it's a little more indirect the way I'm thinking about it, but it's offering things that are as good or better of an experience for consumers.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And I would say that something I struggle with in my personal life with plastic usage is the little micro depressions that come every single day when you throw these things away. And this is just typical grocery shopping. I'm not going takeout boxes right and left. This is just getting spinach or, something very simple at the store. I have done the exercise before of not throwing any plastic away and letting it build up to really see, what a week looks like, and talk about micro depressions building up into one big depression. It's really, I think the more that we can bring people's attention to that feeling, I believe we all truly share on a deep level, and bring it to the surface. So we can look at it as a problem that we're solving, not only for the planet, and a lot of those concepts, like the scale at which plastic is produced, for instance, is out of touch for the average person. They can't really picture, the devastation in the oceans and the microplastics. They're micro, it's hard to really picture that. But you can picture the stuff that you're throwing in the trash every day, and having that, those depressions clear up and feel quite, the opposite feeling of honoring the things that you buy and feeling really good about maintaining them. We do a lot of education on asking yourself what type of product you need in a given moment. Do you need a single-use product, or do you really need a product that's going to last 5 years? Or do you need a product that's going to last a lifetime? And that will determine what material you should be looking for that product. And I think it's all about education, just, helping folks see that there is options. As you said, there are, finally, sustainability is getting sexy, and there are some options in the marketplace. And you're right, this is the time to be voting with our dollars so that those good guys win, and there's more and more competition in the field of sustainable products.
Definitely well said. I guess, well, thank you so much, Davey, for asking that question in the comments. Sofia, did you want to respond to how are you able to go plastic free if it's a certain type of, I know you already explained your packaging, but anything else that you wanted to add to that question?
Yeah, I mean, so far, I'm lucky that being in the outdoor industry, it is pretty a pretty sustainable industry in general, which is really nice. So I feel like kind of people have paved the way a little bit. So I'm really lucky to have mentors in the space to kind of ask. So I think part of it is like a lot of the times I'm working on a few new product designs right now, and the design process takes maybe like 3 to 6 months longer just to make things plastic or as plastic free as possible. Like the only plastic I think we have right now is on the back of the clip of the hats that we make. But I see that is something that's durable. So moving forward, I'm looking into reusable plastic materials for that, because we haven't really been able to find any Velcro that has had the same type of give and the same wear as the plastic. And I think the last part of it is like, even outside of being plastic free, I think, you know, as we've touched on today, it's really important to make products that do last and are good quality, so that maybe you're investing a little bit more money, but it's going to last longer and hopefully last twice as long as a cheaply made product. And to me, that's also sustainability, is making sure that we are making products and things and infrastructure that's sustainable in order to last, so we don't have to constantly, you know, make new things.
Yeah, that is definitely the goal. And then I just was scrolling up, saw one comment that we missed, so I want to make sure this question got asked too. And then so for Rob, is your aluminum sourced from recycled materials?
That's an excellent question. These cans are made by a company called Ball Corporation, who also makes Coke cans and that. And they do use up to 100% recycled aluminum. And I think at the moment it's somewhere in the low 90% of being recycled. And they release a report, I believe, quarterly on how much of the aluminum in there is recycled. But I think it's important to call out that the aluminum itself is infinitely recyclable and can be turned back into itself. So the goal is 100%. I know Ball strives for that. And unlike a plastic bottle, a recycled plastic bottle, rPET, which is the new thing, that rPET bottle is still a single-use plastic bottle in that moment. If it does, and when it does get disposed, it's going to be treated just like a plastic bottle would anyway. So, so to answer that question, I know I kind of extended that a little bit. It's up to 100% recycled, and I believe somewhere in the low 90s right at the current moment.
I have a question for the group. Has anyone had experience or done research in the category of recycled plastics and or bioplastics, and have anything to, you know, say about that?
I'll jump in there. Yeah, specifically at Nomad, we even have a bounty out for a big bonus for anyone who finds a good sustainable plastic. We found some good like polycarbonate blends of recycled and virgin plastic, which is like a great step in the right direction, especially if you're making a plastic product anyway. But I think generally bioplastics are great for more like single use, or like you were saying like a week-long use material. So bioplastics are much better use than, you know, plastic that your spinach would be in, or saran wrap, or maybe we could even find a bioplastic for the wrap that goes around pallets, like something like that would be awesome. But I think generally non-virgin plastic is just not as good, unfortunately, as virgin plastics. And I have faith that there will be a solution out there, but I think looking into non-plastic materials and using plastic and reducing it as much as possible will just help, you know, reduce our overall waste. That's kind of my take on it.
That's a great take. And I felt with that question the need to add that, you know, of course we do want plastic to be recovered and recycled. It just unfortunately isn't right at the moment. And as Sofia had said, that the virgin plastic it ends up being stronger, right? That's why plastic is downcycled. It will not be 100% of itself again. I think it's great that companies use recycled plastic, and I do think these are all good things. I just think it's important to call out that, you know, once that's been recreated into a plastic item, it's still, once that's discarded, going to need to hopefully find its way back to get recycled. And that's the difficult part. It's great to use it and to get it, but it, you know, it isn't. Yeah, it's great. It's great when you can use it for sure, but it's just understanding what that product you have is and what might happen with it at that point.
Yeah, it's almost like they're not sustainable solutions. They're just less egregious than virgin.
Totally. And I think also like looking at our like trash and recycling systems is important too. So like if you're looking at like any of the like more progressive or forward thinking in terms of green or sustainability living as a community. Like I live in Santa Barbara, it's a very green forward community. We don't have a good system for plastic. Berkeley, California does not have a good system for plastic. So I think like thinking about it in that terms too, it's like we have a lot of very smart people trying to work on these trash systems, and it's been really difficult. So I think we need to like divert our thinking from recycled plastic to just as least amount of plastic as possible. And then if we are using plastic, how can we reduce that impact?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think from Sofia, it's just all about the design and kind of how you're creating these products. So thank you guys. As you guys are all product-based businesses, I'm a service-based business, so it is very insightful to hear all of your guys' expertise. We have already been talking for a while now. We just have been having this conversation going. I think I'm going to skip to the last question just for the time, but if anyone does have any questions, please put them in the comments. But I just kind of want to end at least my questions with what advice would you give to others who aspire to be plastic free? So who'd like to start?
I'll go ahead. I think what I touched on in the beginning would be where I would start. If I was starting fresh, would be with single use. Just looking across the board at single-use plastic in your life. Where does it show up? How can you avoid it? There's a lot of, sustainability is like a thread on a sweater. Like once you start to pull it, you realize that there's a lot of greenwashing out there. There's a lot of things that look like they're sustainable. And as you dig deeper, for instance, tote bags, all the rage, get rid of single-use plastic bags, buy a tote, right? Well, when you look into the tote bag industry, it's extremely unsustainable to produce one of those tote bags, and incredibly so, exponentially less, sustainable than the plastic alternative. So it is, it's just all about getting on the path and starting to gobble up facts, but then fact check those facts and really do your research. But I would, because it's such a big undertaking, just start with the single use first and see if you can eliminate that from your life. For one, you'll be eliminating those micro depressions, so that'll improve your quality of living. But then two, it'll be that gateway drug to get you to become more and more plastic free in all the other aspects of your life.
Thanks so much, Bree, for sharing those. And you really touched on a couple pieces I was thinking of as well. And in terms of advice for going plastic free, it's advice to businesses that are going plastic free. I think one would be, I touched on earlier, trying to make an alternative that is as good or better of an experience. I think just making something as plastic free and then assuming people are just going to want it because of that isn't enough. I think it does. You have to take consumer experience into account to make it more easily adopted. And then the second one, also with what Bree had said, is more towards businesses and towards consumers, which is to do your research. There's so much greenwashing out there. There's a format, for example, of water it's Tetra Pak, and I don't mind calling out formats of products and no brand specifically. But Tetra Pak, right, is a paper-based product. But if you look into it, right, it's got plastic, aluminum, wax, paper. All of these things need to be separated out in the recycling process. And there's only, as far as I know, 2 facilities in the United States that even have the means to recycle those. So now you have this item that's marketed as more sustainable, but actually gets recycled less than a plastic bottle because there's no means to do it. So that really would be what my advice would be to both businesses and consumers: do your research on what truly is the more sustainable product and option.
Yeah, I totally agree. The first thing I'm going to say is just that being zero waste in general or plastic free is definitely a privilege. Like just even thinking about grocery shopping, where a lot of our plastic waste is, like if you're shopping at grocery outlet, there's going to be a lot less options that are plastic free than if you're shopping at Whole Foods. And also oftentimes affluent people have more time actual time to invest in research into being plastic free. Luckily, like, I think Gen Z, the generation below me, has been really awesome at just like kind of involving that, no matter like income level. But I think it's really important to recognize like it is definitely a place of privilege. And then with that, just being really mindful of everything you do. So if you have a second, like when I'm in line at a coffee shop, I'll like look around, see, okay, like, so I see that I don't have, like today, I forgot to bring my water bottle to the coffee shop, and I forgot to bring my my coffee mug, which I bring half the time. I'm forgetful. I forget sometimes, but I'm looking around, I'm seeing, okay, so they're serving some cups in plastic or in paper cups, and some cups in like the for here cups, and then I see water cups over there, but those are bioplastic. So I'm gonna ask for like a 2 for here cups, so I can have 1 for water and 1 for coffee. So just kind of like taking a second to like look at your surroundings and seeing what can I do to eliminate those single-use plastics, and just being mindful. And especially when you're making like a big purchase, like if someone is making a big purchase on a car or something like that, just as you would have, you know, the features of the product being a part of your research, have sustainability be a part of that. So anytime you do have time to invest in products or purchases, have sustainability be a part of that practice as well. And I think that's a really good start and intro. And like Brie was saying, it's like a string on a sweater. Once you get started, it'll never stop. But yeah, that's my perspective.
I love that comment. I just need to like pipe in and say that piece about having sustainability just be one of your deciding criteria. I often want to create nutrition facts for products, you know, beyond just the food, right? And we talk at Mache about sustainability being like an onion, and most people start with what they're ingesting because they care. Either something went wrong in their body and they feel like crap, and then they're, you know, buying organic and trying to eat vegetables and buying water that's not in plastic. And it's that internal layer. And then there's, okay, what am I putting on my body? What's soaking into my skin? What am I wearing? What is this, you know, beauty product? Is there plastic and junk and petroleum products in that? And then it's like, okay, what am I sitting in? You know, what is my interior environment? So don't get overwhelmed with the whole onion. Just start with one layer and then work your way into a healthier, more well, you know, body, but planet, environment, community.
I love that. Sorry, I was just trying to go in the comments. And so thank you guys so much for all of your guys' expertise and different points of views with being plastic free and just sustainability in general with product-based businesses. One last round really quick, how can people reach you?
I'll go ahead and chime in there. So thanks again, Erika, for having us on, and just want to appreciate, just say thank you also to the other entrepreneurs on here that are doing some pretty incredible things, and for giving us a platform to try to educate. As Brie had said earlier, education is paramount to the success of not just our brands, but to a better tomorrow. And if people are interested in getting in touch with me, my email is rob@responsiblyrain.com. Our generic email is hello@responsiblyrain.com. And our website, just like the back of our email, www.responsiblyrain.com. You know, there you can find our products. You can find out where you can find our products. We're sold throughout the nation in different areas, and looking to grow more. So again, that's hello@responsiblyrain.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Rob. And you could put your email in the comments too, so that people can get it. I appreciate that. Thank you, Erika, so much for moderating and putting this together. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So yeah, you can find me at outdoorwomen.com or on LinkedIn as well. My email is pretty backed up most of the time, so LinkedIn is a great place if you want to get in touch. I'm also part of a number of like Slack communities and stuff like that, so if I get in touch with you, I'll probably be adding you to that as well, and then we can communicate from there. So thanks for everyone for joining.
I'll echo that, the gratitude. Thank you, Erika. Thank you both for joining. It was really great to meet both of you. I can be found at brienne@heymache.com. That's BRIENNE at hey, HEYMACHE.com. And feel free to check out all the plastic-free yoga storage that we have on our website, heymache.com, HEYMACHE.com. And yeah, email also backed up, but I will do my best. So please reach out if you have any questions, you want to collaborate or just chat. And thanks again. This has been fantastic. I think my favorite live yet.
Perfect.
I was gonna
And
say,
this was my, go ahead, Rob.
I was just gonna say, it's my first live, so
Oh, so we set the bar really high for you, basically. And this is my first going with 4 people, so this is awesome. I have to do these panels again. I love it. Thank you guys so much for your time, and you guys got their contact information. Of course, you can put it in the comments and I can get it to you, as well as I'll put them within this caption as well, so you guys can connect with them on Instagram. But thank you guys. Thank you so much, and let's just keep this conversation going. It's important for us to discuss.
Absolutely.
Well, you guys take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.